I have a problem. One that I've been hiding from myself, one I've been hiding from you and others in my life, but it's a problem that I know I don't suffer from alone. Many of you suffer from this very same problem. You might have men in your life that suffer from this very same problem, and I'd like to talk to you about it in this video. That problem is bad man cave paneling. The paneling in my man cave is so bad that the people who put it in painted over it poorly. I wanted to hide it. I literally camouflaged it. I covered it in this camouflage netting, and for 11 years, my problem was just hiding under a thin layer of fabric, but it was still there. Bad man cave paneling. My friends at Tactical Walls know this suffering as well, which is why they decided to come up with the product that they promised me will not only get rid of my bad man cave paneling look, but turn this wall into the most useful wall in this house. That product is called Mod Walls, and that's what's coming up next on Twang and Bang. I would say that is a whole lot better than what was up there before. It's a couple days later. It took me a little bit longer to get that in place than I was planning on, mainly because up at the top, the house goes from being perfectly level to bowing down, and I had to do a little bit of carpentry, real carpentry, to get everything to be nice and level here and be as high as possible, because I wanted as much room on my bench as I could get. I wanted that to be butted up against the top trim. And I'll show you that at the end of the video. Right now I want to show you the mod walls themselves. This is a 4-panel installation. Each panel is 22 inches high by 48 inches long. And there's a little bit of craziness going on with this display right now, but I wanted to show you the different mounts that are available right now, and I know more will be coming as the market demands, because they were smart and they made this in a very easy way to create new pieces to put up here. It's very modular, hence mod wall. First thing to note is there are a lot of firearms up here. The wall itself is only as secure as the room you put it in. And me personally, all of these firearms are going to be stored in a safe. I would probably be using this to display firearms behind me as I was doing video like I'm doing right now. You might have a secure room in your home where displaying firearms on the wall is something that's a reasonable thing to do. You might be a gun store. You might have things other than rifles, firearms to display, because they have a number of different racks that work for that. These are all air rifles. Those are probably gonna stay there. I'm not too worried about those. You've got a deep shelf where I've got magazines, including a Magpul D60 fit in there. I got a whole lot more of these small shelves that are actually gonna be going up when I take some of the other stuff down to hold more of my cleaning products. Yes, when you were a YouTuber, every cleaning product company under the sun wants to send you samples, and they'll get your address from somebody else if you won't give it to them. They have AR-15 mounts, right side and left side. This would be the one that would point to the left. They've got pistol mounts, which point to the right or point to the left. That crisp vector is actually on one of their pistol magazine mounts. My 22, the 2245, with the Wilson Combat silencer on there, is just held up there by one of their magnets, which is a pretty nifty tool that I also have holding a little shop hobby vise. They have flashlight holders. They've got AR-10 mounts, and they have more generic cradles. They got round cradles, and then they have square profile cradles. They have a body armor hanger, which that is a full plate carrier with AR-500 armor plates. They're actually ceramic plates from AR-500 armor, and even a pretty slick helmet hanger. How this all works together is really cool. Everything is made out of HDPE. The panel, all of the mounts and racks, HDPE is a strong plastic that's soft enough it's not going to mar the finish in your firearms. You have a number of channels that are milled out to accept button head screws, and it's those button head screws that actually hold all of the mounts in place. You have access ports at either end. You have one row here. You have a double row right here, because some of the mounts, like this for the AR-15, have two oriented horizontally. So you'll find that double row and slide this over, and you have that in place. The top and the bottom rows are set at a half space from the edge. That way when you butt two panels together, you have a normal spacing for racks like this one that have two vertical mounting screws. And then as you see, you could do the same thing as if there was a seam here. Some of the longer racks and shelves, it's a little tricky getting them in place. You can certainly slide them from one end all the way across, but if you don't have that option because you already have things in place or you have the rack actually butting up against the wall, you can just have the first mounting screw that you put into the groove a little bit looser than you would otherwise, and that will allow you to have it kind of half in place until you get both of them lined up. There you go. And I could probably tighten it up a little bit more, but that actually would be still pretty good for most of the stuff that you put on a shelf. These things are tunable for tension. That's why they include an Allen key, which again feeds into the fact that this is modular. It's called mod walls for a reason. Mounting these is as much of a breeze as your house lets it be. They're designed to be mounted on studs that are 16 inches apart, and you have pre-divoted spots to put the mounting hardware, but that's not necessarily going to line up with the studs in your house. And in my house, the studs weren't even exactly 16 inches across in all spaces. So I just decided I wanted to put the panels where I wanted them, and I drove the screws right where I needed them. And you can see there's a little bit of marring where the screw pulled through. I didn't drill or anything. I just put the screw in there and drove it right through the HDPE plastic, accommodated it, no problem, and it went right into the stud, and it's holding it just fine. The one thing you do need to keep in mind, the place where it's divoted means that mounting screw will recess and you'll be able to slide your mounts back and forth without that screw being a problem. Anywhere you put a screw otherwise, it's going to be sticking up enough that you're not going to be able to slide a mount past it. I actually haven't had any problems dealing with that. It's not that big a deal. I'm guessing a lot of you are going to end up having to put your panels on the way I did to give you the installation that you're actually looking for, and it's not a problem. And sticking with the mod and mod walls, Tactical Walls allows you to order this stuff a la carte. You can order the panels individually. You can order the mounts individually. You can create whatever display you want. They do have two ready-to-go displays that will save you a little bit money if they provide the kinds of mounts that you want. One is the Patriot package. The other is the Operator package. If either of those looks like what you're trying to create, you will save a little money by going with those ready-made packages. But most people, I think, will go with the a la carte way of building your own display system. As far as price goes, of course, pegboard and wire hooks will beat these things every day of the week. But maybe you don't want a pegboard look. In fact, if you're watching this video this far, you probably don't want a pegboard look in your man cave, in your gun shop, in your gun room, wherever. When you compare the Tactical Walls mod wall to other competing products, I think you're going to be very impressed with the value that this presents, as well as the flexibility that it offers compared to the other types of organizers that are on the market. Be sure to use code TWANGnBANG to save 5% off your order at Tactical Walls. Doesn't matter what you're buying, whether it's mod walls or any of their other products. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You can see the links right here. Be sure to click right here to subscribe so you can catch my next videos on bows, guns, and maybe some of the stuff I have hanging on this wall. I really appreciate you watching Twang and Bang, and I hope to see you next time.